All right, you can drop yes on the chat box if you are connected with your laptop. Okay, that's fine. So today's topic, just like our boss has introduced, we'll be talking about data validation. That's what we're talking about today. We'll be dealing with data validation. But the question is that what is data validation? So data validation is just a feature in Excel, which is used to control what users can enter into a cell, right? So as an analyst, what's it called? You employ data validation to your database or to your Excel such that whatever is being entered is being controlled. If you don't validate your data, people just enter any informations, just the way they want, right? So because of that, we have to put some controls into our database or into our spreadsheet or into the Excel, So, and the only way we can do this is through what the future called data validation. So what data validation helps you to do is that it helps you to control the record that can be entered into your spreadsheet, your Excel, or your database, as the case may be. All right. So what you simply do is that you specify some rules. That is, you give your spreadsheet or your Excel some instructions that, okay, based on this is the only thing that is allowed to be entered into this column, or this is the only record that is allowed to be entered into this data, right? So based on that rule that you specify, any other record that is being imputed into that record, it will not allow it. It's either it gives invalid code or it's either it indicates error. Why? Because such data is not allowed to be recorded based on the rules you've given to your spreadsheet or to your database. All right, so that is what data validation is. And what data validation also help us to do is that it also helps us to control our data type. Just like we all know that we all have different types of data types in our database or in our spreadsheets, right? We have the date data types, we have the text data types, we have the numeric data types, and so on and so forth. Now, in a column that is meant for date data type, you can give it a specified rule that if it is not date data type, please don't allow any other data type apart from date data type, right? Then in a column that is meant for text format, for instance, if you look at this, where we have departments, this column that we have departments, this is text data type, right? Now this column where you have the text data type, you can see some people, they can just randomly enter numeric value here, right? They will just enter numbers. You know that this is not plain, right? So your role as an analyst is to make your report clean as possible. And the only way you can do this is by introducing some specific rules. So imagine someone coming under this department and entering number. There's a conflict here. There's a conflict of data type. You have text and you have number data type. You have numeric data type, right? So, but what data validation helps you to do is that it helps you to restrict that. So you don't have to now worry yourself about the input, about the record that is being imputed into your database or into your spreadsheet, whether you are there or not, just because you specified is particular rule. So anything that we entered into that record will be based on the rules you specified. So simply put, based on what I've explained so far, that is what data validation is all about. All right, moving on, we're going to be looking into the practical aspect. We're performing some examples to buttress what we just explained so far, right? If you look at me here, the data has been shared in the group. So I believe you all have the data by now so that you can practice alongside as we go. But I'm going to be practicalizing this with spreadsheet. That's to tell us that we can also do it with spreadsheets. This is Google Spreadsheets. So you can also perform with your Google Spreadsheet, all right? So I'm going to perform some data validation with Google Spreadsheets. Then probably if we still have time, I will ask one of us to share his or her screen so I can also practicalize it with Microsoft Excel. So let's proceed. So we have our record here. This record is what's it called? This is a staff record, right? Containing staff number, full name, gender, starting date, department, basic salary. So this is basically human resource staff record, right? So on this place, we have a record that has been imputed talking about the various departments in that organization. So we'll be making use of this department column. I'll also be making use of this gender column, right, in our data validation. So we are applying those rules. We have various rules that you can apply in your data validation. So as we go, we begin to see them. Then I have another column here where we are applying those rules. So let me go to this sheet, which is called our practical sheet, right? So I have various columns here. I have department, I have gender, I have company, I have employee before, I have sales goals. All right. The reason why I have these various columns is so that we can perform some various examples of various types of data validations and all that. Hello guys, are we still following? If you are still following, type following on the chat box. I want to be sure that I'm not talking to myself alone. Are we still following? Great. All right, that's fine. All right, let's proceed. Okay, so under this department, look at this is our data set. So what we want to do is that we want to introduce a list or a drop down. All right. Well, what's it called? As a human resource analyst in an organization, your management want to just see all the drop down list of all the various departments in that organization, right? They don't want to see it this way. They want to just see it in a list format. So how are we going to do it? And they also want you to apply some specific rules called data validation. So let's go to where they want us to carry out the task. So we'll go to this cell here. I'm on cell A2. All right, column A, row 2. So what I simply do is that I want to introduce my data validation. So what do I need to do? There are two ways to introduce your data validation, right? You can type shift add, then type drop down, right? Once you click on this drop down, it will give you a list of data validations, right? So introduce what you want to put. If I click on this new drop, it will give me the data validation pane here. So based on this, I can select whatever I want to do here. This is the first method you can call up your data validation. Let me take out this. Let me remove rows. Then the second way is either you go to this your menu pane here and select data validation, select data. Once you click on data, it will bring out all these various features for you. This is for spreadsheet. For those of you using Excel, just select what's it called? Just select your data menu. Under data menu, by the right hand side, you see data validation. So click on data validation as well. So I'll select data validation here. Let's select our data validation. It is selected. You can see the data validation pane here. So what is the next thing I need to do? Let me highlight the range of cells where I want to validate. So in this instance, let me validate cell A2 to cell A14. So let me click on add rule. So this is your add rule. This is where you now add the rule. What data validation function you want to perform on this column. So let me click on add rule. So let's select add rule. So you can see under this add rule, right? I have various options here. The first options, the default option here is a drop down, right? So you can see it has highlighted already. It has selected drop down. But I don't want this drop down. I want the drop down list, which is this second one, which is drop down from range. So I'll select it. Okay. Now the next thing is what was it called? The criteria. You've chosen the criteria where you want the operation to be performed. That is on cell A2 to cell A14, right? We've chosen it. Then the next thing you want to do is that you want to select the table, right? where do you want to get this value from? Where is this data set? So we go to where we have the range of that cell that I want to perform the operation on. So in this case, I'll locate our data set that has been given to us. So let me select it. So it will give you a box where you can put the range of the cell that you want to perform the data validation on. So in this case, I'll locate my data set. Let's go to our worksheet where we have our data set, which is the data validation data set. Let me select it. All right. So
Hello,
what I'm
sorry,
interested.
Frank. Somebody said you should go back a little.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Sorry.
Let me just start again. Let's go back to our practical sheets. So I'll delete this. Okay. So what we want to do is that, right, the management, they are interested. We have our data sets. They are interested in knowing all the departments that we have in the organizations. So in our database, this is the department we have in that organization. We have from accounts to logistic department in the organizations. But what the management or what our supervisor is just interested in seeing is just those various departments in a list format, right? And he also wants us to apply data validation rules. So we'll set a specific rules to this data set, right? So let's go to where we want to apply it. So let's go to our practical sheet. Coming here, all right? So I'll select the cell that I want to apply this data validation on, right? So it's either I select a particular cell, I select range of cells. So let me select this range of cell from cell A2 to cell A12. All right. Then what's the next thing? Let me go to data here. I'll select data, right? Under data, I'll select what do I want to do. The operation I want to perform is I'm not doing data cleaning, but I'm doing data validation. So I'll select data validation. So it has been selected. You can see this pane that has been opened here, data validation pane. So what is asking you today is that what rule do you want to create? So we need to select the rule that I want to create, want to introduce in this data validation. So we have several rules. We have drop down list, right? In spreadsheet, we call it range of cells, right? Then we have dates and several of them. So let's go to our rules. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. These are the various criterias, the various rules that we can set. You can see our range of cells has changed already. Why? Because the drop-down pane is selected. But we are not interested in this drop-down, so we want to use lists. This drop-down from range of cells is also called list in Microsoft Excel. So these are the various operations. These are the various rules that you can set in your data validations. You can set rule that only text is allowed in this column. That means if you select only text is allowed in these columns, for instance, if you select only text is allowed in these columns, right? So we select only text is allowed in this column. So what we need to do is the value or formula of what is allowed. So you set what you want to see, right? So what it means is that if a numeric number is imputed, it will give you error, but we'll definitely get to that. So let's start with this one first. Let's start with a range of cell, which is this drop down. So I'll select this one. This is the one we are interested in. So now, where do we want to get it from? So we locate it in our database. Where do we have the range of cells? So let's select where we have the range of cells. So it opened this box. Go to our data set. You know, we are interested in the department. That's what the management is interested. So go to our department and select where we have our department, right? So we're interested in the department here. So I'll highlight the department from cell K5 into logistic. That's cell K10. It has been highlighted here. So what's the next thing? I've selected the range of cells that I want to validate. So I press OK. All right, let's come back to you selected the range of cells. We have production, we have human resource, we have manager, we have security, we have logistics. These are the various departments we have in the organization. Now, another thing you can do is that you can even decide to style these various departments, right? You can decide to style it. So what do we need to do? We can introduce style to it. Let's give it a color. Let's say account department yellow. Let's say production department. Let's give it turquoise blue. Let's say human resource. Let's give human resource green. Then the managers, let's give the managers, let's give them brown. Then maybe security departments, let's give security, what do we give security? Let's give them purple. Then logistic, we can leave logistic that way. All right, so what's the next thing? The next thing you want to do is that you go to advanced options, right? These advanced options will give you option where you can even set an error message or what have you. Okay, now what you have here is that if the data that is imputed is invalid, what results do you want to see? Do you want to see a warning result? If I want to see a warning result, I'll select warning. But if I want to see a rejection result, I select reject. That means if the input, that if what is imputed in that record that you've given rules is not supposed to be there or is not the right data type, it will give error message or rejection message. So let's go back to our practical. Is that okay? So now I can gladly say, now look at where we have display style. You can choose the various display style. This is the display style here. You have this arrow that you can decide to change it. Let's change it to this one. You can see it has changed. Let me highlight this whole range of cell here. So if I decide to make it plain text, you see it has also changed to plain text. Let's go back to chip, plain text. I can decide to click OK. So let's apply. All right, guys, you can see, let's see what we have here. We've applied our data validation to this department. Let's see the inputs we have. Let's select this. You can see we've successfully, imputed, what we have in these various department that we have here. We successfully brought them here in form of lists. So if I go ahead and select accounts, you can see we have accounts here. Now, because we've styled it, you have it as yellow. You can see the way it looks beautiful. You have it as yellow. So if I go back again and select this one, I have production department, right? If I go ahead and select this one, I have manager. Now see where the rules, let's see check out something now. Let's say I want to type in admin department into this. Let's see what it will give us. Let me select tab. Guys, can you see? It's telling us, look at the error message. Now there's an error, there's a problem here. It is telling us there was a problem. The data you entered in cell A5 violate the data validation rules set on the cell. Guys, can you see? Now, that means yes, you cannot impute what is not part of the rules that you've set. We've set rules that only allow data that falls at within the range of these cells that we've selected. So anything that is not part of the range of the cells that we selected, don't allow it. So let's go ahead and type, let's say production, let's say, what other department we have? Let's say finance. Let's say finance department. Let's see what it will give us. Let's click tab. You can see the same thing. There's an error.
We did. Let him stop me.
All right, guys, if you followed up to this stage, type follow on the chat box. Let's see. Let me be sure that we're all following. All right, great. Okay, that's awesome. All right, so you can see we've set rules by applying our data validations knowledge, right? So you can see we have various departments here, but any department that is not part of the instruction we've given will not be accepted. Let's go ahead. We have various departments. Let's say security. Let's select logistics. Let's select production. So it will only allow the department that was specifying the range of cells. If I type in any department, let's say IT, you can see the way it bounces back. So that's what your data validation does for you. So as an analyst, it's very, very important you know about data validation. It will help you to protect your data set, to protect your work. People will not just begin to enter any random, any random thing into your data set. It is only what you allow them to enter. That's what they can enter. All right. So I'm going to repeat this again using gender. Using gender. So let's do for gender. All right. So let's select data validation. Let's go to data. Remember how to go about it. Click on your data. It's same process in your Microsoft Excel. So once you click on data, you to the right, you locate data validation. So let's select data validation. So in this instance, let me select the range of cells where I want to apply it. I want to apply it to cell B2 to cell B12. So let's click on, let's add rule. All right, so what rule do we want to add now? So let's add rule. Okay, let me repeat this one again so that those of us that didn't get it at first will not get it now. So now where is the source? Where is the source of the data of the where is the source? Where is its data set I want to apply the rule? Where is it located? So let's locate our data set. So let's locate it. Remember, these are data. So let's go to data validation. Let's locate our data set. In this instance, we want to apply it to the gender column. So I'll select gender. That's from cell I5 to cell I6. So I've selected it. Let's click on OK. All right. So you can decide to style it just the same way we style it. Let's give blue to male. Let's give pink to female. Let's give them this. Then you can decide to apply, go to your advanced options. That's if you want to apply error messages or what have you. Now, in the case that this data is invalid, so what do you want to see? Let's select this show a warning. We've used reject the input. So let's select show a warning. Let's see what we'll get. So let's click on done. All right, let's go back to this. All right, guys. Now let's see what we have under gender. Now you can see we've successfully done this for gender. We've added our data validation. So let's see what we have on this drop down. Guys, can you see we have our male here, right? We have our male and we have our female. Let's select female. Now let's go to this one. Now let's assume now we want to type boy. Let's see what we'll get. Let's see boy. Guys, can you see something? Can you see? Can you see the error message? It is telling that input must fall within specified range. That means there's an error there. There's an error. So let's go ahead and say girl. The same thing, there's an error too. Now, why are we having this error? It is because it didn't fall within the specified range, right? We've given this record a rule so that whatever is not part of this range, don't allow it. So if you look at now, boy and girl is not part of the range of the cells based on the rule that we specified. We only have male, we only have female. So if you select female, you can see that the error is not there. There's no error there. So any other thing you impute that is not part of this, let's just impute random thing. It will give you error. Guys, can you see? So that is what you do with your data validation. You set a specified rules, right? The importance of doing this is that it helps you to protect the information in your record. It also helps you to guard against wrong data entry, right? So they only enter the data based on what you specify. If you specify that it is only test only that you want to be entered, it is only that test only that will be entered, right? So we've done for this, we've done for this ones. Let's apply another one. The one we want to apply now is that what if I only want text to be entered in this column? I don't want number to be entered in this column. How are we going to go about it? You see some people, what's it called? They'll do something like this. Let's say Grace. Then under it, they'll have number. They will have number. Then they'll come here, they will now have alphabet, right? They will now have something like this. You don't want to be entering your data this way. Now, to protect what's it called, users from entering record this way, how are you going to do? We'll be applying what we call data validation. In this instance, we only specify that only what can be entered is text. If it is not text, don't allow it. We only want text to be entered. So let's go ahead, highlight the range of cells where we want to apply this rule. So click on your data, then go to data validation. Select data validation. Let's apply the rule. Click on add rule. All right, so let's select add rule. So in this instance, I'm going to be introducing some, I know with time, what's it called? Maybe when we advance to the intermediary, there are some of the things that we're also going to be learning. But if you don't get it now, don't worry. You'll still get it later. So what I want to do is that I want to use what we call custom. These are the various functions you have in your data validation. You have date is before, date is on before, date is after, date is between, date is not between. So these are the various rules you can specify, right? Greater than, less than, right? For instance, if I want to use this greater than right now, I'll specify, I'll add my formula. All right. Now, if I want to, let me say greater than, I only want to see what is greater than 100. Greater than 100. Let me select done. That means in this range of cell, anything that is less than 100 will not be accepted. Let's type 100. Let me click tab. Now you can see this error. Why are you seeing this error? Because it is not greater than 100. Okay, let's see this one. Let's say 1000. You can see the error is no longer there. Now I only specify that I only want to see record that is greater than 100 in this cell. If it is not greater than 100, don't accept it. If it is less than 100, don't accept it. Let's say 99. Let's see what we get. Click on your tab. You can see the error here. It's telling you that invalid input must be greater than 100. Why? Because we specify that only allow record that is greater than 100. That is what you do with your data validation. You have to specify a certain rule, and it's only allow record based on that rule that you specify. All right, so that is that for that. So let's go ahead and apply other ones. So let me delete this. So let me add rule. Let's add another. Let's check out another rule. Click on your add rule. So there are various rules you can add. Let's go ahead. This time around, I want to add let's even check out for custom. You can even customize your formula, right? Let's check the custom formula. Let's see what we can do with custom formula here. Now in custom formula, what I want to do, I want to specify some rules in our custom formula. Now I'm going to be applying like 2-3 rules in this our custom formula. One of the rules I'm going to be applying to this our company is that, all right, if the data is not a text, don't allow it. If the character is no more than 2, don't allow it. Right? So these are the rules I want to apply. Now, if the character is between so and so range, allow it. But if it is outside that range, don't allow it. So I want to customize my rule to tell you that there are a lot of things you can do with your data validation, right? So let's go to our formula. Let's apply this to the formula. We've selected custom formula, right? We want to customize our formula. Now we don't want to go with what what we have in our drop down. So let's customize our formula. So I'm going to be introducing some formula here. So the formula I'm going to be introducing is that I'm going to be introducing and, right? You've done logical functions. If not, we'll still get to logical functions so you understand better. So let's introduce and. First of all, always know that before you introduce any function, you must put your equals to it. And so what we want to do is that we want to validate this column such that it is only what we allow that can be seen. So and equals to, I want number that is between a range. So I'll use a function called is between. The function called is between, right? Let me open the brackets. Then another thing I want to introduce is that I want to know the length of the character, right? If the character is 2, if the character is 5. So length function helps to count the length of the character, right? So I'm introducing our length function. Let me open the bracket. The inside is our length function. I want you to count this cell C2. So I introduce this cell here, cell C2. Let me close the bracket. Right. The next thing I want to introduce is that now the letters we want to see here, it must not be less than 2. So I want to see minimum of 2 and maximum of 10. If it is less than 2, don't accept it. If it is more than 10, don't accept it. So only accept the letters if it is between 2 and 10. So minimum of 2, then one maximum of 10. That is the only letter I want us to accept in this column. So I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and put, let's close it. So the next thing we want to do is that now we want to also introduce text. If it is not text, don't accept it. Only accept this if it is only text. If it is numeric, sorry guys, can you still hear me? I think I had issue with net, so let me just quickly connect again. So sorry about that. So I had issue with net.
Yes,
So let me just quickly connect. So sorry. I'm sharing my screen back. All right, can you all see my screen now?
Yes,
Can you all see my screen? All right, thank
you. We can see your screen.
All right, thank you. So this is that if it is not text, don't accept it, right? Only accept it when it is text data type. So let's introduce that function, which is text. So if it is text, accept. If it is not text, don't accept it. If it is not text, don't accept it. So let's open bracket. Where do we want to apply? I want to apply it to cell C2. Cell C2, select cell C2. So let's go ahead and close this. Go ahead and close it. So let's click on enter. Right. So let's say what error message do we want to see. If this thing doesn't meet this data validation criteria, reject it. Click on, and let's see what happens. Under this place, now give me a company that has more than 2 letters from 2 to 10. Give me any company of your choice. Let's type it and see what we'll get. Oh, Jidara say you're not seeing my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, it has
Jidara,
come up now. Thank you. It has come up now. Thank you.
All right. So now let's test run what we just the rule we just defined now. So give me a company. You know, in the rule we define, we say if the company name is less than 2, don't accept it. If it is between 2 and 10, that is only when you can accept it. Then if the company name is not test format, test data type, don't accept it. Then if the character is less than 2, don't accept it. So give me any company that is between 2 to 10. Let's add it here. Let's see what happens. Just type companies of your choice. Just type on the chat box. Just give me any name. Just give me any name. Okay, let's say Amazon. Let's see. Also, you see, it is accepted. Why is it accepted? Amazon, the character of Amazon is 6. So it is between 2 and 10. Okay, someone say AB Logistics. Let's try AB Logistics. Let's all get AB Logistics. AB Logistics. Let's see. Press tab. Look at the error message. Let's see again. AB Logistics. AB Logistics. Let's click on enter. Guys, it's not accepting. Look at the error. It said the data you entered in cell C3 violates the data validation rule. Let's see if the character is more than, is the character more than 10? Hello guys, AB Logistics, is it more than 10? You can see that AB Logistics is more than 10, right? Thank you, that means it's more than 10. You can see, so you cannot violate the rules we've set. Once you set that, no one can validate it. No one can violate it. You see the way it bounces it back. So and someone said Facebook, let's try Facebook. If Facebook is less than 10, it will accept it. So let's try it. Facebook. You can see, right? So if it is, okay, let's try, is there any company that is less than 2? Let's just try any random this thing. Let's just put E here. Let's see what happens. You see the way it bounces it back. Why? Because we specified in our rule only accepts character that is between 2 to 10. If it is less than 2, don't accept it. If it is more than 10, don't accept it. Someone said DORC. Let's try this one. DORC. You can see, you see how it works. Now let's impute number. Let's see. Anything that is not test, let's try and see if it will work. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see. Guys, can you see? We've imputed number. It is telling us that this is not the correct data type. We only specify that only accept text data types. Someone say IPMC. Let's try IPMC and see what happens. It accepted it. Why? Because IPMC is greater than 2 and less than 10. So let's try date format. Let's see if it will accept date format. Guys, can you see? It doesn't accept it. Why? Because it is not the right data type that will define. So that is what you can do with your data validation, right? So based on what you specify, you can use it to protect your data. You can use it to guard against incorrect data entries and all that. They can only enter based on the data type that you specify. So any rule that is specified, that is what it will only allow, right? So let's try one more. I know that our boss said that we don't have much time. So let's just do one more because of time and all that. So let's try the dates. Okay, let's assume here now. Oh, I should take the formula again. Okay, let me go over it again. That's fine. So what I'll simply do is that let me remove the rule, right? So I want to remove the rule. So I'll click on remove rule. Let me click on remove rule. Guys, can you see? We've taken out the rules, right? So let's go over it again. So what I want to do is that in this our company column, I only want to see data type that is text. If it is not text, don't allow it. Then another thing I also want to do is, another thing I want to introduce is that I want the character to be between 2 to 10. If it is less than 2, if the company name is less than 2, don't accept it. If the company name is greater than 10, don't accept it. So it must be between 2 to 10. That is the only character that I can accept. Right? That's what I want to introduce here. Right? So let's go ahead and introduce it again. So highlight the range of cell that I want to validate. So go to your data typing, select validation. Although we already have it here, but I'm just saying in case if you don't have it here, you just, this is the way you go. You just go to your data validation, select, then click on add rule. So specify the rule you want to add. We don't want to use drop down, but want to use customized formula. That is, we want to set our own formula, right? Based on what we want to. So let's select custom formula. Then when you have your formula box here, this is where you impute the formula. So start with your operator sign equals to, and so open your brackets, right? So what do we want to do? We want to use is between function. That is, only accept character that is between 2 to 10. So let's introduce our is between function. Is between 2 to 10. That's what we want to accept, right? As I'm introducing it, also help us to count it. So for us to count the character, we are introducing a function called len. So what len function help you to do is I help you to count the number of character that you have in a cell. So we're introducing our len function. All right. So I'm taking this again for the person that said we should repeat the formula again. So now, where do we want to apply it? We want to apply it in our cell C2. So let's select cell C2. Cell C2, close the bracket. Then comma. So we want it to be between 2 to 10. So minimum of 2 character, then maximum of 10 characters. So let's introduce our minimum. 2 is our minimum. Then what is our maximum? Our maximum is 10 character. Is that okay? So it must be between 2 to 10 character. That's what we want to see. Then the next one we want to introduce is that we want to introduce our text. Only accept a value that is text. If it is not text data type, don't accept it. So let's introduce our isText function. So introduce our isText function. So which cell do we want to apply? We want to apply it to cell C2. Open your brackets, type in cell C2. That's where I want to apply this. So close the bracket. Now, so let's close the AND bracket now. So let's add another bracket to close it, right? So it is giving us error there. So where is the error coming from? We have is between len, all right, C2. Okay. It's test. So is and is between len C2 2 10 is text D, and so let's go ahead and close this. Okay. So let's correct this. We're having an error message. So let's look into our formula equals to and. So is between. Is between, so it must be between. So let's introduce our len function. Len help us to count the numbers of the character that we want to see. So we are counting the numbers of character in cell C2. All right, so it must be minimum of 2 character, the maximum of 10 character. So then want to introduce our is function. It must be text. Want to see only value that is text. So let's introduce the cell we want to apply, cell C2. Close the brackets. Close the brackets. All right, so let's click on done. Can you see the formula now? So let's click on done. So the next thing I want to select is I want to select, right, the error message. This I want to see reject the input if it doesn't meet those criteria for the validation. So now you are done here already. So you just go ahead and input whatever doesn't meet the criteria to bounce it back. You see, so it only work if it meets the criteria, just like we introduced. Let's introduce a company name. Someone said Facebook. It will accept it because Facebook meets the criteria. If you put a number here, it won't work. Why? Because it doesn't meet the criteria. You only gave it instruction to only accept test function. If you put anything that is more than 10 here, it won't accept it. Can you see? So it will only work if it meets the criteria that you specified. So is the formula clear now?
Yes, please. Thank
So
you very
is the
much.
formula
Yes.
clear now?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Clear.
Thank you very much.
All right. So I don't know if we still have time again to take these other ones. You know, our boss said we shouldn't spend much time here. I want to be sure we still have more time. If not, I don't want to cross more than the time allotted to me. Do you still have more time, sir? Can I still take one more or two more, sir? Can I still give more examples, sir? Okay, since our boss is not so. Hello, guys. Can we still do more? Let me just get confirmation again before we proceed. Let me know just. Can we still do more? We should stop here. Or we should continue. All right. Okay. All right, guys. I can see that we are following. That's fine. All right. Imagine in the organization, the management or the head of HR, head of human resource, want to see the employee, what's called the staff that are employed before a particular date. They want to see what's it called, only those staff, right? So what? So let's go ahead and impute it. So we can add, we can set a rule that it is only the dates that you specify that can be allowed in this column. So let's go ahead and set those rules. So let's highlight the range of cells and click on add rule. You don't always need to go to your date here anymore. Since you already have it here, you have the pin here. So click on add rule. Okay, the reason why you have this drop down is because that's the first one that comes out drop down. So you select what you want to see, right? So we want to see dates that is before, right? It is only date that is before that it will show us. So let's select what we want to see. We need to specify it. So let's select the exact date we want to see. So in this case, we want to see date that is before 2022. So we'll say 01, 0102, 2022, right? Those are the dates we want to see. So any date that is after 2022, it will type error. But if you type in any date, people that are employed before 2022 will accept it. So that is the record we want to see. We want to see record of employees that were employed before 2022. So we've imputed our exact formula here. This is the date, the exact date. So let me set the rules. If it doesn't meet the criteria, what do we select? Reject input. Let's click on done. All right. So let's say 01, 01, 02, 2021. Oh, sorry. 01, 02, 2021. Let's see. Guys, can you see? You can see it has accepted it. Now give me another date. Give me a date that is before 20. Let's use a date that is before 2022. Let's say 01, 0103, 2023. Remember that the rule we set is that the date must be, right? The date must be a date before 2022. Let's see what this one will give us. Wait, so let's retake. It's like this didn't apply. Let's see. It didn't apply. Let's delete this again and let's take out the rule. Let's take out this rule. Let's remove this. So let's apply the rule again. The rule didn't apply. So we want to see only record that is before this particular date. So let's set the rule again, add rule, right? So what do we want to see? Go to dates. Let's specify the date. Date is on or before. So you can choose any one, right? Date is after, right? So let's choose date is on or before. All right. So let's specify where we want to see or the rule we want to set exact dates. So let's select the dates here. Put the values. Let's say 01, 02, 2022. So we specified it. So go to advanced options. If it is not valid, click reject the input. Click on done. All right. So let's put in any date. Let's put in a date here. 2023. Right? Just a second.
Sorry, please.
Yes, I'm with you.
I think that date format, the date format is not well formatted. In our rule.
Oh, thank you so much. There's even an error on this date here. I've seen the error. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for pointing it out. All right. Thank you for observing. That means you are following. That shows you are following. Okay. All right, so let's just do 01, 02. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for being observant. I mean, that shows you are following. All right, guys, you can see it has worked. The data has been validated, right? So the reason why we see this error is because it doesn't meet the criteria. This date, for it to work, the date must be on or before 2022. So if you put any date that is above 2020, it won't work, right? So that is what you've set. What's it called? You've set date validations on your dates, right? But anything that is below 2020 to work, it will definitely work, right? Sorry, you guys, there's no light. I'm trying to see my keyboard. That's why. Right. Okay, this one should work. You see, the reason why this one works is what it is on or before 2021 and all that. You want to say something?
I just is it for calendar?
You say?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, what if we want to put calendar? We want to put a calendar there instead of them entering it. We just want them to use the calendar to select the dates. Can that be possible now? Yeah.
Yeah, the calendar. I think it can be possible, but I've not tried that one out yet. Maybe I'll need to explore it. But let's go to our drop down. Let's see whether we have it in our drop down, right? Let's see if we have it in our drop down. But it's possible, it can be done, right? It can be done. So let's go to our draw. Let's see if we have it in our drop down. Sorry. Let's go to this. This is between. Okay. All right, now drop down. Let's see. Except they want to set a formula on that here, right? Except they want to write the formula here, because there's a space where you can actually write a formula. So you can actually, there should be a formula for that, a formula that will just generate your date calendar for you. But in the drop down list, it's not there. Is that okay? Did you get that?
That's okay.
All right, guys. So let's just do one more, right? Now we have a sales goal target, right? Now let's give a sales goal here. Maybe the sales goal is that the sales goal must not be less than 100. It must be greater than 100, right? So let's set that rule. So anything that is less than 100 will not be accepted here. So let's highlight the range of cells that want to apply it to. Let's add new rule. Sorry, let me just click on done first. Done. Let's remove this one. Okay. So let's select the range of cells. Let's add new rule. So let's give all the employees sales targets. The target we are giving them is that it should be between let's say is greater than, let's say greater than, only allow what is greater than 100, right? That's what you should allow, only greater than 100. So done. So if you put anything, any goal that is less than 100, it won't accept it. Let's say 99. You see the way it bounces it up. So it only accepts if it is greater than what you specified. So let's say 200. All right, guys. So that is it. So do we have any questions so far? So this is how to use your data validation. So you just need to explore. There are several things you could do with your data validation. There are several options. So all you just need to do is just understand the basic, which is actually what we've done tonight. So you can on your own, you can just go ahead and explore several of them. So how to do one is how to do all, right? Just go and practice and explore all of them. We have several functions when it comes to data validation. We can't even exhaust it tonight, right? We can't exhaust it tonight. So, please, sir, hello, sir. Are you still there, sir? We
I
have
have
to
a
stop. We have
question.
to stop tonight. So let me just welcome Mr. Benga, our boss, to continue. Because of time, we have to stop
Sorry,
tonight.
sorry, I have a question.
You have a question, right? Go ahead.
Okay, first thing, thank you for your time. But again, I noticed that you had a column that you listed out the data that you want to show in your data validation. So my question is, in a
Okay.
case whereby you don't have
Is it?
a
Are you talking
column,
about this one?
yes, exactly. Is it
Okay.
possible to just type out the details of what you want to see in your column instead of copying or going to referencing a column, another column, or a data set, like you put it?
Yes, exactly. You can. You can see this is a blank column here. So you can do what we call data entry. So you can enter whatever record you want to enter in this blank column, right? So after entering the record, you can now validate the data. So you see the same process now. So this is a blank column. I don't even have anything here. So I can enter any record here. After that, then I'll apply data validation to them. So you must not refer to a data set or whatever. It depends on what you want to do. The reason why I have to refer to this data set is so that we can even make it more simpler for everyone. Instead of trying to start imputing them all over again, it's still the same way you do them.
Okay, so I think you did not actually get my question. So what I was asking is,
Okay.
can you just
Yes.
impute this data, this information directly?
Okay, can you impute it directly on what? Hello?
Can we make use of, like, can we just use it like a select option? Using the option or the option command or the select function.
Hello?
Okay,
I
using
think
the
that,
select function. Yeah.
yes,
Sorry, I
I
got
think
lost.
that is what she's trying to say, like a drop down. We can just build our own drop down and then we implement the rule. Can that
Like the old
actually work?
Excel, I think Excel 2010, yes, you can, if you're doing a data validation, I think it's Excel 2010 or so, old Excel. There's a column that you just list out everything that you want to see in your drop down. So I'm
Okay,
asking
okay,
if
okay.
same
Yes,
thing
yes,
can
yes,
be done
yes.
with a Google Sheet as well.
Yes, it can, it can. It can be done. It can be done, yes. It can be done. So do you have more question? Mr. Benga is not on this call. Let me chat him up. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get Mr. Benga's attention. So just a minute, guys. I'm trying to get Mr. Benga's attention.